Neolithic period now. It's near Amsa.
Is it Amsa?
It looks like.
Ah, okay. So, oops. If we're in Amsa, we can discover it by ourselves, right?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. And we can experience that.
Yeah, why not?
Just here. What I can recall about Amsa is that, yeah, it was discovered and how it was discovered, and also what we have to keep in mind about human history as a whole. So it connects us to our ancestors, but also we can think about how human life developed and what set the basis for it. The deciding differences that we can draw from the Neolithic, from the Paleolithic age to the Neolithic age, and also talk about the discovery of Amsadong settlement site, and also the tools that are exhibited there. As a last thing, we can conclude this period by talking about the Neolithic Revolution, which actually set the basic for human development.
Yeah. So since we are in Amsa now and we need to discover this, so how about just know some basic knowledge about history? We can see from this, history can be divided into a prehistoric age and a historic age, depending on whether people know how to use a letter to record their daily life. And the prehistoric age can be divided into the Stone Age, Bronze Age, and the Iron Age, depending on the materials they used at that time. The people, the Neolithic period, there is something different between the Paleolithic period and the Neolithic period, like the tools and the houses. In the Paleolithic period, hand axe is a major tool that people use for chipping and flaking. But in the Neolithic period, people invented something more developed, like the shaped daggers, like spear hand, and like the bone needles, like grinding and polishing. What's more, since the tools have been developed, the people also changed their houses too. So they moved their house from the cave to the pit houses.
When in 1925, when the Han River washed away all the soil from the river banks, the people could discover some parts of diagonal-shaped earthenware, and they wondered what this might be. Well, it was actually the cone pattern pottery we will introduce later. An Amsadong prehistoric settlement site was established in 1988, so the visitors could also look at those relics. In the whole of Korea, we have about 500 relics from that Neolithic period.
Yeah, just as I told the people, the Neolithic Koreans invented some new. Acorn is also a major meal that the Neolithic Korean had at that time. So, in order to eat the acorn easily, the smart Neolithic Koreans invented the grinding stone and stone pestles to eat it more easy.
So, what can we find next? Actually, in Amsa, we can see that there are net sinkers, and people in the Neolithic age were able to get aware of how to catch fish, because before that, they kind of had difficulties. In the Neolithic age, they developed the net and the net sinker to spend their time outside the river, just waiting for the fish to go into the net.
And also, this bottom. It's strange, isn't it? But no, because at that time, people just live by the river or by the sea. So they make it, put it stand up in the sand. So how clever they are.
Yeah, and as the last part, we talk about the Neolithic Revolution, because this actually calls in mind why we can learn from Amsa and what we can learn from Amsa. The Neolithic Revolution, as you can see here, is the transformation of human societies from being hunter-gatherer-based to agriculture-based. Because at that time, they could make food more available, and it made them aware. So their brain could develop, and they could get a sense for culture, a sense for religion, and also they were able to build the pit houses, and were no longer dependent on their natural environment as well as on the seasons of the year. So with their pit houses and agriculture, they were able to be somewhat independent of nature. And this also set the basis for culture and religion, which could develop after that.
Yeah,
So
it's also very good.
this is the conclusion of our presentation. Thank you for your attention.